Welcome to another week of the WSN Football Pick'em. Very excited to be back with you. My name is Adam Forsyth, joined always by Ryan Sullivan. What a thrilling week of football action for week number 8 and more exciting games on tap for week number 9, Ryan. Here's how the show works. We're going to break down each game. We're going to give you our perspectives on it, the overs, the unders, the spreads, certain players we like to hit the props. It's a smorgasbord, an extravaganza of picks.
Excellent use of smorgasbord.
Exactly. And how we start the show is our best bets category. So we're going to recap our best bets from last week, let you know how we did on some picks, some good ones, some bad ones. There was a few clunkers in there, and then we'll break it all down. So, do you want the honors, sir?
Oh, yeah, please.
Lead the charge.
Okay. My best bet, I just want to say it nailed on the money line. But apparently we're going spreads with so I didn't hit the spread. My apologies. But really it should be Kirk Cousins who's apologizing. The guy couldn't scramble, and Washington just kept taking him down.
So your best bet was Minnesota to cover?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a big spread. I think it was 15 by the time they kicked off. And they should have hit it, but blame Cousins. Don't blame me. All over the prop, though. I mean, we agreed on one. DK Metcalf. This guy, 3 catches, 13 yards. I mean, any other day, that's pretty brutal, but 2 touchdowns. And Pete Carroll's used to doing this. He likes to get his guys' morale nice and high after that fumble the week before. They fed him constantly in the red zone, which was good to see. And, I feel like I'm rambling. Why don't you talk about your best bet?
My best bet,
because, we'll give you the crown for this week.
Absolutely. Improved to 8-0 with my best bets this season. Loving it. And my best bet was New England to cover the spread against the Browns, and they did so with ease. You just mentioned the prop bet. We both like DK Metcalf to find the end zone. We got that one. New England defensive touchdown, got that. And Latavius Murray to have a big game / find the end zone, got that one. Now, I can't just pat myself on the back without calling myself out on my big swing and miss. And
wait a minute, you have flaws?
I have. They're hard to find, but I have flaws.
No idea.
And the big one was I thought Carolina would at least make it entertaining against the 49ers, and that was a disaster. They were absolutely crushed. So I'm sorry. I apologize. But, hey, my best bet worked out.
It is what it is. Yeah.
8-0, baby.
8. I'm sitting across from Brandon Lang here. That's pretty good.
I don't know that reference, but
2 for the money. Pacino.
That's a deep cut.
Yeah, well, that's why it's a ways back. So I also hit the over in the Bucks Titans. I was pretty hesitant to get into the props and to get into the different kind of additional bets that you can jump on there. We kind of stuck to mostly spreads and money, but I did go with one over in the Bucks Titans, and they nailed that. Put up 50 on the board, which is good to see. My biggest miss: Buffalo losing to Philly.
I think most people got that wrong, though.
Yeah, I can't say nobody saw that one coming, because people still have faith in the Eagles, as they should. And but after that loss to Dallas, I figured they were kind of dead in the water going into enemy territory. Bills Mafia, I was hoping they would pull it out, but Buffalo looked just slow and sluggish in that game. So I won't make that mistake again, because I'm taking Philly over Chicago as my best bet this week to cover the 5.5-point spread.
All right, I like that best bet. That's not a bad one. I'm going to go on the West Coast for this one. I really like Seattle to cover this week against Tampa Bay. Again, Tampa Bay, it's a long travel all the way out to the Northwest. Seattle's 4-1 straight up in their last 5 games. Buccaneers are just bad. They're leaking points. I mean, if Ryan Tannehill's offense with the Titans can put up 27 points on you, you're in a lot of trouble. And then Tampa Bay's run game is just non-existent. So you don't have to worry about the run. And then any passing plays, well, the Hawks have a solid secondary. So I like Seattle to cover. That is my best bet of the week, Ryan.
I like it. Why don't we get into it?
All right. So for our listeners living in New Jersey or West Virginia, all you got to do is go to WSN.com for special bonuses and deals if you want to bet on this week's games. It's pretty awesome. You can compare the best legal online sports books and get exclusive offers when you sign up and start betting. So why don't we break down the Week 9 slate with the Thursday night game, Ryan? I will let you do the honors. San Francisco at Arizona, and it's a big spread. San Fran favored by 10, and we have the over-under set at 44 points.
Yeah, and okay, I'll be the first to admit, and I mean, if you were the first to go in this game, obviously you would be the first to admit, we both did not believe in San Francisco. I mean, they're an undefeated team, but we always thought, I mean, we're under the impression, these guys are a little overrated. They haven't faced a good opponent yet. And not that Carolina really is a strong opponent, but at the same time, they were looking pretty decent there under Kyle Allen.
It was like 14-0 after like 2 minutes.
Yeah, they beat the absolute pulp out of the Carolina Panthers. And now they're heading into Arizona, a dome environment. It's the West Coast. I like San Francisco in this game, and I feel like everybody should, because after what we saw last week with Arizona in New Orleans, they could only muster up a few points on the board there, a few field goals. San Francisco, I think, is just going to absolutely demolish them. Stephen A. Smith coming out saying that they're the best team in the NFL. I don't know about the best team in the NFL. Let's call them the best team in the conference. They're definitely tops of the NFC for a reason here. I believe in the 49ers now, and I believe in that defense especially. Like, the offense is not too bad, but that defense especially, man, they're deadly. And what we saw to Nick Bosa, he could play running back if he wanted. Some nice jukes there. That was
not just the best rookie, maybe the best defensive player of the year so far.
Unreal. And so, I mean, yeah. So I like Frisco to win. I like San Francisco to cover, but I will throw a prop out there. A prop pending, if you will. Let's throw a little asterisk on it, because Matt Breida right now, he's a little dinged up. If he does not play in this game, I'm taking Raheem Mostert to get a touchdown, because he's been killing it. He's averaging 5.7 yards a carry, 9 carries, 60 yards last game. When he touches the rock, good things happen. I like Mostert in the prop.
Stat guy Ryan coming through in the clutch here. All right, I also like San Fran in this game. Short week, Arizona's kind of struggling. I think they might have fooled everyone because they had a really weak schedule to begin the season, and they rattled off a few wins, but they crashed back to earth last week against Drew Brees and the Saints, and it was very apparent. On a short week, I'm kind of staying away from the spread on this one, but I do like the over because both teams, provided they can put up the points, and I also like Emmanuel Sanders, the new 49er, to haul in his second touchdown with San Fran. That is my prop bet for that game.
Well played.
Not bad. All right, so let's get into the Sunday games because we got a lot of them, and we start with the early game because we got a London game. Houston versus Jacksonville. Houston favored by 2. The over-under set at 47.5, and it's a big divisional clash in London, Ryan. Both teams really desperate for a win, and it's the AFC South is toss it up in the air. It could be anybody. Where the balls land, nobody actually knows, and I really like Houston at this current spread. Jacksonville's defense is kind of sneaky good, but Deshaun Watson is an MVP candidate. He snuck out a win against the Raiders. He's kind of that guy in the clutch you want under center. He's performing, and Houston just dominates Jacksonville for whatever reason. They've won 9 of their last 11 games against Jacksonville. Get ready for number 10. I like this game.
Yeah. And I'm with you on that, especially the Deshaun Watson point. Casey Printers used to play in the preseason for the Kansas City Chiefs. He didn't make it out of the preseason, but there was a quote ESPN had way back in the day here. I'm dating myself, but he came into the coach's room and he said, "You got me trying to make chicken salad out of chicken bleep." And
chicken bleep.
Yeah, I'd like to say the word, but it's a family program here. It's a family betting advice program.
We're all family at WSN.
Exactly. Come on now. And I feel kind of that's what Deshaun Watson's doing. I mean, of course he's got Hopkins out there, but Will Fuller, the 5th, is out. Kiki Cutie is not doing what he needs to do out there. They're down to another wide receiver that they're throwing into the mix. That O-line is not amazing by any means. Bill O'Brien is just is not gutsy whatsoever. Maybe even less so than Matt Nagy last week with the Bears. So, I mean, it's all on Watson's shoulders, and I think he's been doing a pretty good job considering. I like them in this game. These London games, Shad Khan, just move your team over to London already, all right? The Jaguars keep playing over there every single season because he's testing the waters, seeing if there's any English Jaguars fans out there. This is getting ridiculous. I don't like the London experiment. Let's end this. This is stupid.
Well, it's nice. You get up early.
Oh, you enjoy it?
Yeah, you get a cup of coffee.
Having a good time there.
Enjoy Jacksonville and Houston.
Yeah, who wouldn't? No, I like Houston to win. I like Houston to cover this minimal spread of 2 points. As much as I praised Gardner Minshew last week, and he did show up, he did perform. I like Houston to win this divisional match.
Gardner Minshew the second.
Sorry.
You respect him.
Uncle Rico. Let's just stick with that from now on.
All right, let's keep things rolling. We are now into the Sunday morning slate of games. Afternoon for people on the East Coast. Minnesota at Kansas City. Minnesota favored by 3. Over-under at 47. And this game, the spread very dependent on whether Patrick Mahomes plays or not. And at this point, it's kind of up in the air. He is practicing with the second unit. But, I mean, a dislocated kneecap, you don't really bounce from that from that too quickly. So if he is out, I love the under in this game. Kirk Cousins, Matt Moore, they don't really inspire confidence. 47 points between those two quarterbacks. And the trends actually really back up my thinking. I was looking into it. The Vikings have hit the under in 6 of their last 7 road games. So that's kind of where I'm falling in terms of that. I might stay away from the spread. And if you're looking for a riskier play, a little bit more meat on the bone, daily fantasy, keep tabs on Alexander Mattinson. The running back could easily vulture a goal line touchdown from Cooks or Diggs or so.
Yeah. And I'm with you on that one too. First and foremost, I like the Vikings to take this game. I like the under call that you're throwing out there. And I'm a Matt Moore fan. I think Matt Moore has never really gotten a fair shake. I think he does have some ability. I don't see him as the next GOAT by any means, but
last week we both agreed we didn't know he was still in the NFL.
You threw that out there.
And then you nodded. You're like, I agree.
Trying to make it. I'm Pete Carroll. I'm trying to keep morale high here. Okay. But no. I mean, the thing with the Kansas City defense though is that they can't stop short passes. They have not done a good job of that all season long. And you look at who Minnesota's bringing out of that backfield. You mentioned them, Mattinson, Dalvin Cook's having a hell of a year as well. If they can just get those little short checkdowns, those short little screen passes, they can tear these guys absolutely apart. But Kansas will have a chance. They could keep it close if they can get to Cousins early and often. I mean, we saw in that Washington game, if they can just puncture the offensive line and take away a second off of Kirk Cousins, he's clueless out there. He either chucks it out of bounds or he goes down with ease. His feet are in cinder blocks over there. So, but no, I like the Vikings to win this game. It's not going to be the game of the week. I mean, if you're looking for something very exciting to watch, I don't think it's going to be this football game. But if you're looking for something to throw some dough down, it's not a bad call.
There is value out there. All right.
Absolutely.
So we did just mention daily fantasy. We want to mention real money DFS as a great option for people living in a state where traditional sports betting is not legal. All you got to do is mention DraftKings and FanDuel, and then viewers can go sign up using links on WSN.com. Maybe some daily fantasy in our next game, Ryan.
Yeah, okay, why not? So we're going to jump to Washington at Buffalo.
Ooh.
Yeah, and the spread here a little hefty. Buffalo is favored by 10. The over-under set at 36.5. I learned my lesson last week, taking Buffalo over Philly with the spread. So this week, I do like Buffalo, but I'm not going anywhere near that spread with a 10-foot pole. 10 points, that's pretty hefty. And I mean, Buffalo it was favored last week and had the spread, and they got absolutely clobbered. So I'm not going anywhere near that, but Buffalo on the money line, absolutely, I like that. And another person that I like here.
What a bold take.
Yeah, another thing that I like here, don't call me Pam, Cole Beasley. Getting the job done. 2 touchdowns in as many games. I think he's going to go 3 for 3 here. This guy's been an absolute target machine for Josh Allen, and he's just like the safety set of hands out there. Anytime you need a catch, anytime you need 10 yards, call Cole Beasley. He'll get it done. But they've been going to him more and more in the red zone, and I like him this week. So if you're looking at the props, Cole's your man. As for the Washington offense, I hope they show up with Chris Thompson rocking a questionable tag. I don't really see it happening. If he's in there, I mean, I'm sure he'll get some targets as well, but they'll probably use him in a limited capacity. So I like Buffalo with ease in this game.
All right, Ryan, I just want to, we have an accord.
Hey.
We have an accord.
Look at this.
Cole Beasley. We talked about it last week.
A WSN first.
Yeah.
We're on the same page.
We got the divide.
Yeah, we do.
But we have an accord.
Okay, that's
fine. Don't shake my hand. Yeah, I like Cole Beasley in this game too for the I don't know about maybe a touchdown, but I do like him to hit the over on receptions. Again, like you said, just those like 10-yard check down plays, quick 5-6 receptions a game, and you're always going to find a prop about 3.5 receptions. So that's what I like. But this game has a stink to it. I like you got to quote Kevin McAllister. It's the Christmas classic Home Alone, and we're approaching the holiday season. Buzz's girlfriend. Woof, because this game has woof written all over it.
Yeah.
And obviously the line makers agree. The over under of 36.5 points, that might be one of the lowest spreads we'll see this season. And I don't even know what to do with Washington at this point. I don't think anybody does. At this point, you kind of have to bet against them. Buffalo is going to be really angry after you mentioned that bad loss to the Eagles. History is on their side too. They play really well against Washington. They've covered the spread and beaten the Redskins 6 straight. So there you go. I mean, that's kind of the way I'm going. And then again, back to that Cole Beasley.
I like how you're bringing the history into it, of course. Do you know the tidbit about Buzz's girlfriend?
That was the director's...
There's a tidbit. Yeah, the director's son with a lady wig on.
Stay tuned next week when we do a movie podcast for WSN.
Yeah. Who'd have thought? I had no idea.
All right, our next game on the slate is Tennessee at Carolina. Carolina favored by 3.5 points. The over-under set at 41. And I kind of was like, you don't want to say a week 9 game. It's a little too early to say must-win, but this is kind of a must-win for maybe both teams, especially the Panthers. They need a W on the board to keep pace in that really competitive NFC wildcard race. We discussed it off the top with the best bets where we kind of said Carolina was struggling. Kyle Allen stunk. He was really bad. And Cam Newton is getting closer and closer returning. This might be his last chance to prove he's an NFL starter. And then somehow the Titans, they've won 2 in a row. Ryan Tannehill looks like a competent quarterback, but I'm still not really buying stock in them. I think Carolina covers the 3.5 point spread because this is make or break.
Yeah, you're not wrong there, and I to your point, I think both teams desperately need this W here. But I mean, it just amazes me week in and week out. Christian McCaffrey, his back's got to be killing him from carrying this team all season long. He's been absolutely incredible. I see him going off yet again. And that's not really a gutsy pick by any means because he's been doing it week in and week out. This guy's Dr. Consistency here.
Take your locks when you can get them, right?
Why not? Exactly. But I'm kind of with you with the Kyle Allen comment there, too. I mean, I had a lot of faith in this guy. And, I think he still can play, and I think he still has a bright future in this league, of course. I don't think he's going to finish the season as the starting quarterback. They'll go back to Cam eventually. But in this game, it's a big one for him to kind of go out. I think this would be his finale. They're going to give Cam Newton another week to get healthy here, to get to 100% anyhow, even though he will be on the sideline holding the clipboard here. But Kyle Allen, this is kind of his finale. He needs to really put up some strong numbers here. And we saw when he went against an elite defense in San Francisco, he was absolutely brutal. But now you're going up against a Tennessee team that just allowed a ton of points in the second half, especially to Jameis Winston. I don't believe in the Titans. I don't believe in Ryan Tannehill, but I do believe, here's a little side note, that Greg Olsen will get involved early and often in this game. I got some faith. Maybe the winds are blowing that way. I don't know what it is, but I think Greg Olsen's going to get used quite a bit. Maybe a touchdown, but I'm not going anywhere near a prop on that. I have a feeling.
I think he finds himself back in the broadcast booth before he finds the end zone again.
Talking about Greg Olsen?
Yeah.
Yeah, you might be right. I don't know. We'll see. I got a feeling. All
right, we'll see how it pans out.
And when I get a feeling.
For our next game, I think you have a pretty good feeling on this game, Ryan. New York Jets at the Miami Dolphins. The Jets favored by 5.5 points. The over-under at 41. Ryan, what do you think of these two struggling teams?
Yes, not much.
Yeah.
So, but in this game, Jets at Dolphins here. Jets by 5.5. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna go out. On a limb here. The Miami Dolphins are gonna win their first game of 2019 against the New York Jets at home in front of those crazy Dolphin fans. They're going to take the bags off their heads, and they're going to watch their team win a football game here for a change. The Jets, I have no faith in these guys. I know they squeaked out a win a few weeks back against the Cowboys. They've got 2 on the season. It's good to see. Good for them. But Sam Darnold, since he's come back, has been absolutely brutal. And they're even saying right now he's playing through a sprained thumb.
Not a sprained thumb.
Yeah. And Darnold said, it's just a pain tolerance thing. Don't worry about it. Well, that's great, but I don't see what the point is. I mean, Darnold is obviously their future. If the injury is that bad, and maybe it's not, maybe it's playable. Of course it is. He's getting in there.
A sprained thumb?
Of course he's getting in there, but he's not making a difference whatsoever. So I mean, wait till he's healthy. The season's a wash, anyways. Le'Veon Bell has zero room to move out there with a shoddy O-line. He goes for 2 yards and falls over every single time. The one thing I do like about the Jets in this game is I like Jameson Crowder for a receptions prop. Take the over in any receptions prop on Jameson Crowder. Every time the Jets have gotten a win this season, which is all of 2, he's come up with 9 receptions in those games. When he gets in there, when he gets used, it makes a difference. And in the first game, they lost by 1 to Buffalo. He had 17 freaking targets.
You're getting fired up.
I know.
What's your language, salty mouth?
I said freaking. All right. I see Miami winning. Don't even worry about the Jets. Don't even worry about the spread. But do check out that prop if you see it available. I think you should jump on it.
Ryan, I love this. I love that you're going out there. You're taking some risks. I appreciate it.
Yes,
it's the spicy take of the week. I wish I could give you some WSN hot sauce.
Spice.
Because that's
the ghost pepper of picks right there.
I'm taking the Jets.
Okay.
You're crazy. Yeah.
Okay.
Let me put some stats on you that maybe will convince
I
you
noticed
otherwise.
you didn't extend the handshake, so I figured you were probably going the other
you get
way.
an invisible bottle of WSN hot sauce because I don't know. That's a scorching hot take. The Dolphins are averaging 3 points a game in the second half. 3 points.
Yeah.
All right. They didn't score a single point in the Monday nighter against the Steelers in the second half. Mm-hmm. So even if Miami somehow gets a first quarter touchdown, it doesn't matter because they're not they just become a different team in the second half. I like the under. Again, the Jets offense sucks. We both can acknowledge that. But at least their defensive squad's decent. They might even get a defensive touchdown this week because they're partnering up against the Dolphins' non-existent offense. Further proof, the under hit in 4 of Miami's last 5 home games. That's not really a surprise. I am looking for New York to jet out of Miami with an easy victory.
What poster is framed on my wall at home?
Doug Flutie, New York Jets?
No. Dude, what?
I don't know.
You know this. It's David Copperfield because I love magic and Fitz magic is coming through.
All right, I actually knew the answer.
He's got an afro. It says magic for the 90s. It's signed. I don't know where it came from, but it's the greatest thing you've ever seen. Anyway, sorry. Fitz magic.
I didn't know if you wanted me to say that you had the Speed movie poster, the Michael Jackson poster, or the David Copperfield, so I just guessed.
If there's a poster out there of Doug Flutie playing for the New York Jets, that's got to be worth a lot of money.
Well, let's keep this thing rolling. This team might need Doug Flutie to be their quarterback. It's that dire. Chicago at Philadelphia. Philadelphia currently favored by 5 points. The over-under set at 43.5. And Ryan, what a year. What a difference a few months makes for Matt Nagy. He was the coach of the year in the NFL last year. He was given an award, and now the Bears fans are calling for his head. Mm-hmm. It's not his fault he inherited. You have 2 quarterbacks you can use. You can use Mitch Trubisky or Chase Daniels. It's like deciding, do you want to be bald or do you want gray hair by the time you're 25? You pick.
I would love to have some hair by the time I'm 35.
So
right now, it's not trending in that direction. So you shouldn't ask me that question.
So you got the Matt Nagy situation, and you've made your choice. You chose Mitch Trubisky.
Yeah. Well, I have job security, I think. Anyways, I think I do.
Wow. But
not quite the Matt
What
Nagy.
I'm trying to say is both options suck. I mean, Chicago's stellar D, they're getting worn out because they're on the field all the time, and they're why did we try so hard to then just go 3 and out with Trubisky? The only bright spot for Bears fans is Nagy finally realized last week you need to start running the football. So I like David Montgomery. I like Tariq Cohen. I really like them in fantasy plays. I like Montgomery on the over rush yards. I like Cohen on the over receptions. But in the end, I'm still choosing Philly. 5 points seems like a pretty generous spread. Philly impressed in Buffalo on the road, and now they're back at home. Even a so-so game from Carson Wentz can lead to a victory. So, Ryan, I am going with the Eagles.
I am going to contest a couple things that you tossed out there with Matt Nagy saying that it's not his fault. Matt Nagy pulled the biggest Bill O'Brien last week. I mean, in the final minute of that fourth quarter, we'll talk about the final minute of the first half in just a moment. But the final minute of that fourth quarter, he decides to just we're gonna sit here with 40 seconds left. We're not gonna force it. We're not gonna push it. And then he takes a field goal, and obviously Eddie Pinheiro parkied the hell out of it. Doinked it off the upright, and they're pretty used to that in Chicago. But after the game, he goes to the press conference. No, if we run the football, we could fumble, and if we throw the football, it could get picked off. Yeah, that happens every single time you have the football. There is risk, but with 40 seconds left, with a team that is that down in the dumps, with your job on the line, grow a pair, man. What is that?
I don't blame him at all. I don't blame him. Why would you throw it? Trubisky under pressure?
No, they've got a timeout still. I mean, run a play, see what happens. If you can even get 10 more yards on the board, you give that much more confidence to your kicker.
You know what happens?
Nobody has confidence kicking in Soldier Field. Nobody does, clearly, as you can see. So I mean, so I'm not a big fan of that move. And this team, Chicago, I mean, at the end of that first half, that was just embarrassing what was going on there. They couldn't get it figured out with 25 seconds on the goal line. They got to settle for 3. It was absolutely brutal. So, no, I like Philly in this game. I made the mistake last week of not taking Philly over Buffalo. I used Philly here as my best bet this week, and I'm taking them to take the cover, to cover the spread, and to win this game at home with these, because I have no faith whatsoever in the Bears, and I wouldn't be surprised if Mitch Trubisky does not finish this game as the starting quarterback.
Wow, I like that take. All right. Very good. If you want more spicy takes from Ryan on WSN.com, there's tons of them. There's also plenty of other cool stuff, tons of betting guides for beginners, and anyone wanting to learn more about strategy or how sports betting works, state-by-state guides to find out if sports betting is legal where you live and where you can expect it to be legal. So, for Ryan,
and we get the hot sauce soon in the WSN shop.
WSN hot sauce.
There it is. Not bad.
No tomato base though. We're going pure cayenne.
You went with the allergies.
I don't like tomatoes. Putting it out there. That's my hot take of the week. Ban tomatoes. Thomas, write that down.
Yeah, Tom. Yeah, he's on it. Okay, so why don't we start this out? We got Indianapolis at Pittsburgh. We both agreed last week that we are Jacoby Brissett fans. I think the Indianapolis Colts have been just running under the radar all year long. I said on last week's show, I love that defense. And you know what? They were average last week. They weren't incredible, but they still made life hard for the quarterback. They got a few sacks on the board. You got Justin Houston out there. Darius Leonard looking deadly again, back from injury. I like them to put some heat on Mason Rudolph in this game.
Like some WSN hot sauce?
The more we bring it up, the more it will sell.
Oh, yeah.
We're working on commission here. No, I like the Colts. I mean, with these, how do the Dolphins put 14 points up right away on Pittsburgh? I mean, obviously there's holes there, and the Colts are definitely going to capitalize. I don't care if it's in Heinz Field. This could be at Wembley. This could be in the Sahara Desert. It doesn't matter. I'm still taking the Colts all day long. The over-under, 43.5. I don't know if I feel confident enough to go anywhere near that, but on the money line, I'm absolutely taking the Colts.
All right. So for this game, I think the Steelers have no chance of catching up at Heinz Field. Yeah. No, I like Indy to cover this week as well. Pittsburgh's win over Miami on Monday. Like, it wasn't that impressive. Like you said, they were down 14-0. Unlike Santa Rudolph, Mason Rudolph will Let's reset. Here we go.
I want to hear what else you got. Keep going.
The Steelers are still... no, I don't know. Let's get back to the actual stats and what's going to win you some money. You can't let Miami's offense put up points on the board. Jacoby Brissett should be salivating at the chance to play against this Steelers defense. I expect points to be scored. So I know you're kind of a little iffy on that over-under. I love the over to hit. And I'm going back to the well. Even though it didn't pay off last week, it has paid off a bunch this season. There is money to be made on a T.Y. Hilton touchdown prop bet. So that is what I'm going with. Total's gone over in 5 of Indianapolis' last 6 games while playing on the road against Pittsburgh. I know it's pretty specific, but hey, that is a trend that I like.
Hey, not bad, buddy. Not bad.
All right, let's get into the Sunday afternoon games. We start with the Lions at the Raiders. Oakland currently favored by 2 points. The over-under pretty big, 51. This game really could go either way. I definitely think it's going to be a shootout, though. The over is high, but it could easily hit. These teams kind of sometimes just forget that they have a defensive side of their... they're like, let's just practice the offense this week.
Yeah.
The Lions really need to make a decision on their running game, though. Trey Carson, Ty Johnson, not the answer. Really surprised they didn't make a move to try and get a running back in this week. On the other side of the ball, I really like, he's maybe my favorite running back this season, Josh Jacobs. This kid is impressing me every single day. I like him to raid the Oakland playbook and steal himself a touchdown. I also like the emerging star Darren Weller to have another big day. The tight end is maybe one of the best tight ends in the league very quickly. He just keeps finding Derek Carr. I like him for the over on catches, and I like him on the over for receiving yards.
Wow.
As for the spread itself, it's kind of a toss-up for me. I don't know who's going to win this game.
Okay, that's fair.
I'll put it out there.
Yeah, no, the Lions were not dead in the water, and then they shipped off their starting safety to the Seattle Seahawks. Similar to what they did last year with Golden Tate. I mean, I don't know. There's just something about this team, and albeit if you live in Detroit, you are used to this halfway through the season going, okay, well, this probably isn't the year yet again. So, I mean, that's mentality seems to have leaked its way into the front office because they're shipping off pieces when they're still in contention. Now, not so much anymore. They're third place in the div. It doesn't look like they're anywhere near a wild card, even though there's still lots of weeks to go around and lots of football to play. But nonetheless, yeah, the Giants put up 26 points on them right now. Offense has not been the problem. As you mentioned, they've averaged 28 points through the last 5 weeks. I do like Detroit in a sense. I think that they're going to keep this game very nice and close, but at the same time, it's hard to go against the Oakland Raiders. The way they're playing football right now, the way Derek Carr is spreading that ball around, he's thrown 5 touchdowns through his last 2 games, almost 300 yards in each game. For Derek Carr, these are big numbers, okay? For David Carr, these are huge numbers. So, but yeah, for Derek, these are decent. So, and the way they've been spreading around, like I say, Waller, I mean, Jacobs didn't have a great week last week. His shoulder was dinged up. But this time around, I like the Raiders to win, and I like the over going over 51 points as well.
All right, it's a big spread, but I just, or a big over-under, but I like that, 51. Yeah. Let's keep things rolling with the afternoon slate of games. We have Tampa Bay at Seattle. This is my best bet of the week. Seattle, a spread currently of 6.5 points. The over-under, very big, 52.5 points. Ryan, your breakdown, sir.
This will be an exciting game if Jameis Winston shows up. Otherwise, this will be a killing. Seattle looks absolutely deadly. And I mean, albeit their defense did allow quite a few points on the board last week in Atlanta, which was a little shocking seeing how Matt Schaub was at the helm. But nonetheless, I like Seattle, obviously, to win this game. I like Seattle to cover this spread. Last week, the Buccaneers, I mean, they should have been able to pull it out. And they actually did. That should have been a touchdown, and Bruce Arians would agree, that defensive touchdown. But nonetheless, there's too many holes in the system right there. They're too inconsistent. They're consistently inconsistent, if you will.
Is that that's the name of your album cover, right?
It is, actually. Yeah, absolutely. Russell Wilson is posting MVP caliber numbers right now. That word was now. Chris Carson's been an absolute stud out of the backfield. As you know, I've got him in my fantasy, and he's the guy that's been carrying my team week in and week out. And there's a chance they might be welcoming back Ed Dixon into the fold, and we saw from Will Disley earlier in the year, when there's a tight end that can catch a football in Seattle, is a pretty good guy to have, not only in fantasy, but he gives them a huge edge as well. I like Seattle at home. I like them to win. I like them to cover. I like the Seahawks even as a Super Bowl contender.
Wow, okay, I like it. Ryan, for this, I have an invisible coin. Heads or tails?
Heads.
It's tails.
You smacked your mic again.
I know, but that's exactly how it's a complete coin toss if Winston shows up, as you mentioned.
Okay.
It's, whether he shows up or not, but I have a theory.
What if I called tails?
Then he shows up. I don't know. It's 50-50 at this point.
I just wanted to see.
But, my theory for this game is out there.
Yeah.
We all know he loves crab legs. I think he gets distracted by the seafood.
Doesn't like paying for these crab legs.
No, but he gets distracted by the seafood smorgasbord offered up by the Great Northwest. And I think he's just a little bit distracted. He doesn't have a good game. Mm-hmm. Seattle crowd is always loud. I don't think he handles the big stage well. As for right now, nothing crazy in the weather forecast. Do you like this crab analogy?
Jameis Winston and the Buccaneers will lose because he'll be distracted by Pike Place.
Yeah, there's all that cloud chowder.
Yeah. On crustaceans at Pike Place.
Yeah, I mean, do you not leave Seattle feeling full after all that clam chowder? It's delicious.
I know. I hear you, buddy.
We know he loves seafood. As for the weather, Tampa Bay, warm weather, Seattle, it's going to be a little frigid, but nothing too crazy. I mentioned earlier, my best bet of the week, I like Seattle to cover. Some great odds out there if you'd find them for Russell Wilson to run in a TD. And I like the under on both Peyton Barber and Ronald Jones rush yards for Tampa Bay. It paid last week, and I like to pay again. Yeah. What do we got for our next game, buddy?
Not bad. Well, first off, I want to talk about WSN.com a little bit. Okay. I mean, extensive odds, free picks for all major sports. Obviously, you can find this show on there too. Tons of betting guides for beginners. Anyone wanted to learn more about strategy, how sports betting works. I know you just went over this just a moment ago, but at the same time, it is a big deal because, I mean, every time that I talk to anybody that wants to get into sports betting, you mention a little bit of the lingo and they're like, wait, what is that? Wait, what is that? What is that? It's like watching a football game with my wife. There's like 20 questions every single time. So if you have any questions, if you want to get into the mix, if you want to learn a little bit about how you can put some money down, WSN, there's so many tutorials there. It's fantastic. Why don't we go into Green Bay and the Los Angeles Chargers here? Green Bay is favored by 3 points. The over-under is set at 46. And as we know, I let the cat out of the bag on last week's show. I have an affinity for the Chargers. There's something about them from their days back in San Diego. I'm a fan. But, I mean, last week they proved me wrong. I decided to go against them. I took the Bears in that game, which was a huge mistake, which I will not make again, except I'm not picking the Chargers again. But I'm not going to doubt them. I believe that they'll show up.
Dig yourself a hole here.
But I don't believe they're going to win. I believe they'll show up for a little bit. Anyways, the Chargers just got rid of offensive coordinator Ken Wisenhunt on Monday night. And that's not going to make a world of difference, but it's showing that the wheels are coming off a little bit in Los Angeles, and perfect timing too, because they're about to go to a 100,000 seat stadium. So it's a great time for this team to start stalling right now. They can't even fill a 20,000 seat soccer stadium, but nonetheless, that's another discussion for another day. I like the Packers to win this game. I like them at a 3-point spread. Absolutely. The way Aaron Rodgers is dishing that ball around and the way Aaron Jones is running that ball, oh my gosh, take the Packers all day long. And not to mention, they're going to be in front of their home fans who are on vacation in Los Angeles. So I like the Packers at home / on the road to win this game.
It is the epic showdown that WSN fans have been waiting for, because it is your Chargers versus my Packers. And I too agree with you. I think the Packers easily cover this game. Almost made it my best bet of the week. Aaron Rodgers and the Packers love playing in California. In fact, they've won their last 5 road games against the Chargers. You mentioned Aaron Jones is on fire. The Chargers still trying to figure out who won this weekend. Like, did we win? Did the Bears just gift us a victory? My instinct is to hit the over in this game, but kind of diving a little bit deeper into the betting trends, nothing healthy about the scores at Dignity Health Sports Park. That's the name of their stadium. Why, I don't know. But it has gone under in 5 of the last 6 games at that stadium. Green Bay will pack up their gear on Sunday night, head home with an easy win. Having covered the spread with ease, I would have made this the best bet of the week, but I just can't jinx my fellow cheeseheads.
That's fair. I think because it was the StubHub Center, I guess StubHub saw the Chargers move in and were like, you know what? We're going to spend our money elsewhere. Probably not a bad move.
It's so ironic that there's the word dignity is in there.
Actually, that's true. Okay, I see where you're going now.
All right, for our next game, we have Cleveland at Denver. The current line, Denver favored by 1.5 points. The over-under set at 42.5. Ryan, what do you make of this?
Freddie Kitchens and the Browns will get their Christmas gifts in November this year, and it comes at Mile High. Denver looked absolutely brutal. Not just last week, but the week before, and the week before, and the week before, and the week before. Denver has been terrible all season long, and we're talking about the wheels coming off with the Chargers. I mean, they ship Emmanuel Sanders out. Not to say that Denver's going to be making a playoff run. They know that, obviously. But you ship out Emmanuel Sanders. That's the only guy that Joe Flacco could throw a football to. Courtland Sutton's got great hands, but they're not utilizing him whatsoever. Sanders was a total key piece and X factor. So with him gone, there's really not much to work with on that offense, and it looks like Joe Flacco may be out for this game as well. There's just so many things wrong with the Denver Broncos that it actually plays into the favor of the Browns. Because believe me, there are so many things wrong with the Cleveland Browns. They have a great looking payroll. I mean, on paper, they look like they should be a pretty star-studded team. They're not. They just can't put it together. There's too many personalities on the team that maybe they clash. Maybe they just don't want to read the playbook. I don't know. But nonetheless, because Denver is so bad, Denver is this bad. Cleveland is this bad. But because Denver's this bad, it makes Cleveland a little bit better.
Ryan math.
Yeah.
You do the math.
Yeah, I just wanted to put that in like the simplest terms. Cleveland's not the better team. They're just not simple. The worst team in this game.
The phrase "oh the humanity" doesn't just apply to the Hindenburg disaster. It also applies to this game, because this game will be a disaster. The Broncos having a quarterback making his NFL debut in Brandon Allen with Flacco hurt. The Browns dealing with the inept play calling of Freddie Kitchens. And while their fridge might be a little bare when it comes to the playbook, Cleveland will still probably win this game. I agree with you. Baker Mayfield and Odell Beckham Jr. need to start connecting more. Like, it just has to happen if they want any chance. If they even remotely come close to getting a touchdown between that duo, I do like the Browns to win this game. Yeah. That's the afternoon slate of games, so we got a couple more to go, and one of them is the Sunday night game. This could be the game of the year.
Bum, 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 bum. Yeah. Ba-dum. Isn't that Sunday Night Football?
Is it?
I didn't want to sing the Carrie Underwood.
I want you to sing the Carrie Underwood.
Next show.
Sunday night game, New England at Baltimore. New England favored by 3.5, over-under set at 44. I said it last week, and I say it again. I'm just going to keep taking the Pats until they prove me wrong. Like, they cover every week. Doesn't matter what the spread is. And I also really like the under as well here. Bill Belichick, just his playbook is so... We talked about Freddie Kitchens not having a playbook. Bill Belichick has the ultimate playbook. He loves to tighten things up on the road. New England hit the under in 5 straight road games. And if you count the Pats' defensive points, they still would have won 4 games this season just by defensive scores alone. It's one of the most dominant defensive first halves in NFL history. I would not be surprised if they keep the Ravens in check on Sunday. Looking at the props, I kind of like a couple of things. Edelman to hit the over on receptions. And while I expect the Ravens to struggle with the ball, Lamar Jackson has a great scramble game. He has no issue. And with all that scrambling comes ground yards. I like him to hit over in rushing.
Yeah. Lamar Jackson's a prop king. That's a good call. But yeah, I mean, the spread of 3.5, come on, no problem. New England right now looks absolutely ridiculous. There's nothing that we can even There's nothing that we can even say to pump New England's tires more so than anyone else has on earth. They look just incredible right now. Their defense has just been untouchable all year long. If you're looking for a prop, I mean, if there's anything on New England interceptions, jump all over that. I mean, yeah. I'm sure at this point, though, that number is going to be like 3.5 or something like that because these guys have an insane average. But no, I like New England to win this game, not only because obviously they're the better team on paper and on the turf, but it's just become so evident that they did not put enough pieces around Lamar Jackson. Right now, they just extended Willie Snead, which is
bless you.
Thank you. Which is something. But I mean, you need to put some actual guys with hands out there. I mean, Hollywood Brown is their best receiver. I mean, this is a rookie who we thought, okay, yeah, he might come in. He might be all right in his first season. Nobody expected him to be the go-to guy out there. And that's the case. I mean, right now, the one piece that they did add in Mark Ingram, he's been solid. He's been a rock. He's been great. But outside of Ingram in that backfield, there's not much going on. Gus the Bus has been extremely slow. And outside of that, you're looking at, guys that are putting up yards that are few and far between. So, anyways, I like New England to win this game. Nothing else to say. New England to cover. No problem. Done deal.
All right, and we move on to our final game of the week, the Monday Nighter, a divisional showdown. Dallas at the New York Giants. Dallas favored by a touchdown, 7 points. Over under set at 48 points. Ryan, what do you make of this divisional contest?
This wasn't an easy pick for me. It really wasn't, because the Giants, obviously, they ran the board up a little bit in Detroit last week, and the Giants have shown that they can put points on the board. And I see them keeping it pretty close here. So I'm not going to go anywhere near the spread. I am going to take Dallas on the money line. And right now, I mean, you look at Dallas entering this game. They've been not that hot. They're 1-3 in their last four. Not that hot. Not so much. But they have had a week break. I mean, they should be a little bit rested. I'm hoping for their sake, anyways. They had a huge win, obviously, against Philadelphia a few weeks back. But I don't know. I see them winning this game, but I see it being a tight one. They've only gone over 30 points once this season. Talking about the Giants now. So I don't see this. I mean, even getting anywhere near the over/under, which is set at 48. But I think Dallas is a very safe pick in this game. And it's just like Dignity Health. MetLife has never, since it's been built, given home field advantage to anybody that's played there. The Giants have been brutal. The Jets have been brutal. So I don't care if this is in New York or wherever. I just don't see the Giants taking this game. I see him clawing. I see him keeping it close. I believe in Saquon. Who doesn't? But Dallas with ease.
All right. This one is one of the tougher games of the week. The spread is kind of right where it should be. It's a tough call. I mean, logically you should be picking the Cowboys in this game, but when they play these NFC East divisional games in prime time, it's weird. Something is always weird in the air. Dallas coming off a bye, so they've had a long time to prep for trying to contain Barkley. But you just can't trust their coaching staff, like Jason Garrett. Come on.
No, I don't trust him.
Yeah, so I might actually end up leaving this one alone in terms of scores, spread, money line. I'll stay away. Instead, I'm going to turn to some player props to hit the pay dirt.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, I thought you were just going to...
No, we're done.
Yeah.
No, Amari Cooper healing up after some early season injury concerns, coming off a bye. I like him to find the end zone. And then a prop bet that actually pays really well is Evan Ingram of the Giants finding the end zone. That is the one I'm going with. So I'll leave the money line, the spread, and the over-under to you. I'll just take the prop bets on this one.
You know what? Why don't we do a gentleman's bet?
Hot sauce? WSN hot sauce?
Sure. Because, I mean, obviously, you like Amari Cooper in this game. The Giants, obviously, not that deep in the secondary. Their best guys are going to be all over Amari Cooper. I think Michael Gallup is going to finish this game with more receptions than Amari Cooper.
Oh, absolutely.
You like that?
Done. What do we want to...
I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out by next week.
Okay. Thomas, take that. Write that down. That's legally binding. So there you go. There's the slate of Week 9 games. We powered through. Had a lot of fun. There's a lot of interesting games there, and we'll kind of see what happens with it all. For our listeners living in New Jersey or West Virginia, again, go to WSN.com for special bonuses and deals. If you want to bet on this week's games, I will be doing just that momentarily. Ryan, let's recap our best bets of the week. What do you got?
Best bets of the week. I like Philly over Chicago, and I mean it's not crazy. We're not going out there. I mean, this is basically as gutsy as Adam's pick of New England as the best bet last week, which he's still gloating about for some reason.
8-0, baby.
Again, where is this 8-0 coming from?
All right, so you got Philly.
I like Philly. The spread's at 5. The Eagles, I mean, this is no problem. Coach Matt Nagy's, he's coaching for his life these days. Mitch Trubisky is playing for his starting role these days, and I just don't believe in Chicago whatsoever.
All right, and recapping my best bet of the week, I like Seattle at home, favored by 6.5 points, taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So that is what I'm going with this week. Seattle to cover, putting my perfect record on the line. Yeah, so again, all you got to do is head to WSN.com, expert online sportsbook reviews. They compare with all the best. It's a real treat. It's a joy. Just like this was, Ryan. Thanks, buddy. We will be back next week recapping our picks and breaking down Week 10. Again, hope you guys enjoyed. WSN.com for all the coverage. We'll see you next week.